right, we're live. Roll into our BSPN night. We are doing a wrap-up of the Nashville Fitshow tonight. What's up, Shaneeka? Welcome. As everyone's getting logged on, Miss Shaneeka ended up in second call-out at Nashville Fitshow, which was a big bump up for her. Ended up placing 10th, so got that top 10 in there, so that was awesome. If you want to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing. All the fun stuff when it comes to competing. That's what we do. And this weekend was a fantastic weekend, but it was an exhausting weekend. Oh my goodness gracious. So those of you that followed my stories, you saw that I had like all these travel, it wasn't really travel issues. My flight just kept getting delayed and it was annoying. So what ended up happening is I had to shove everything that I had planned on doing on Friday into a matter of a couple of hours that I thought I was gonna have all day to do. There's some stuff I didn't get to, that kind of thing. So it was a long day, and then as soon as I got in, I had to set everything up, and by the time I got everything set up and ready to go, it was freaking, 10:30 at night at that point, and I had to be up at 2:15 to do hair and makeup the next day. So it was a long day. And then it was good, don't get me wrong, it was good because our NPC sponsored athlete Iulia ended up winning the open overall in bikini. So we were literally there till the very end, and then some, because she won the overall. We had to stay even longer, but it was worth it. And she was actually my first makeup appointment of the morning too. So it was a long day for both of us. Yeah, all those flight delays, it was driving me nuts, man. But I got all my steps in, going back and forth to the lounges. I was like, well, at least I can go to the lounge and have a drink. But it was a gorgeous venue. You know, I used to live in Nashville, and I started my bodybuilding career in Tennessee. So everybody that was there at the show, there was a bunch of people that were in my very first show that I ever did, 12 years ago, almost 13 years ago now, because it was 2008. Holy crap, when I start thinking about that. Wow, it was 13 years ago. Whoa. No, it was 2009. I take that back. It was 2009. It was not 2008. It was 2009. I take that back. Thank you for doing that for me. You're welcome. Of course. Couldn't have done it for anybody nicer, right? So I was happy to do it. Yeah, 2009 is when I started competing. Yes, that's right. So, 12 years. So Whitney, who is the promoter of the show, she and I actually competed in our very first show together 12 years ago. Another one of the girls that was in that show was also there helping, and that was Kaylin Maynor. And then another one, Becca Sizemore, who is a Fitness Olympia competitor. She was there as well, and she was also in our very first show. So it's pretty cool that like all of us are still in this business, right? So I kept laughing watching your stories of you being like, well, back to the lounge. Yeah, right? I was like, nah, might as well. I'm going to go back and get another drink. Great job, Iulia. See you at North Americans. Yes, North Americans is what we got up next. So I will be home this week, which means that I'll be able to do more live feeds this week than I typically do when I have show weekend. So at least I'll have a weekend at home. We do have a Sundays with Sean that's coming Sunday too, and I think it's full. We might have like one slot open if someone needs to sign up for it this weekend on Sunday. So we do have that prior to North Americans next week. But yeah, this was a great show. Again, it was a very long day, but it was definitely worth it, 100% worth it. So the results ended up being, pretty much what we thought they were going to be. I wanted to mention a few notable things. One of the things that was interesting was that Francesca actually ended up dropping to 8th. And this was something that I had mentioned to you guys. Like, there's no point in her being on stage anymore right now. She's qualified for the Olympia. If I was her, I wouldn't have competed in these last couple of shows. I would have gotten off stage. And that really showed at this particular show how tired she was. Not that she looked bad. She didn't look bad by any stretch of the imagination. It just didn't look like her normal self. She was very soft through the glutes. The hamstring tie-ins and stuff weren't quite there. Didn't have any pop. All of those things happen when your body starts getting tired. So I'm hoping that at this point, this means she's going to stay off stage until Olympia. That would be my suggestion for her, because she's gone from winning a show a few weeks ago to 8th place. So not the right direction. Needs to get off stage, give her body a rest, right? So that she can come back and to the Olympia in 2 months and make some noise, right? Yay, thank you. And let's go. Yes, I can't wait for North America. It's going to be a good show. So, you know, again, overall, I don't think Francesca looked bad. I just don't think she looked her best. So if I was her, if I was advising her, I'd say, okay, let's just get off stage now. We did what we came to do. We are Olympia qualified. Let's just go rest so that we can bring back a better package, fill all the muscle back out, pop it, all of those kinds of things. So, you know, she ended up in that 8th place position. And then I'm going to go through the top 6, starting with Brina. So Brina ended up placing 6th. Which, to be honest with you, was a little bit disappointing. You know, I wanted to see her get a little bit higher than that, but this was a better package for her as well. And it was a tougher show. I mean, the top 6 were amazing at this show. So, I mean, I think she was appropriately placed. However, you know, my personal side, I wish she was a little bit higher. You know, so. You know, we went through a lot of the things that she did in the last couple of shows and just said, hey, you know, I'm a big fan of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the way she ended up in the top 10 at the Olympia this past year was with this yellow suit and with this, you know, this kind of package that she brought in. She started to kind of run off some of the muscle she had built over the last off season. She did build a little bit too much, so now she has to get rid of some of that. You know, but overall, this was a better look for her. We did do her makeup for the show, and I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit too, because she's a beautiful girl, but her makeup looks the last few shows have made her look harder than she actually is in the face. You know, this is where good stage makeup comes into play. You know, when I saw her photos and stuff from the last few shows, I reached out to her. We were talking about her look for this show, and I said, I'd just like to do a few things to help to brighten your face up a little bit, pop your eyes a little bit more, and make that diet face not quite so hard. So that's what we did, you know, and her eyes looked beautiful. They're bright and wide and open, and that's something I haven't seen on her in the last few shows. Her eyes looked a little closed off. Her lips in the last few shows looked like they didn't exist. I overlined her lips a little bit, made them brighter so that she looked like she had some lips. Her face, again, she's got those really hard lines from dieting hard, and we just popped it a little bit more, gave her some bright flush in her cheeks to make her look a little bit healthy and fuller. And I just think that ends up coming off really pretty on stage. And I was really, really happy with this look for her skin. Her makeup made her look refreshed. It sure did. I 100% agree with that. We just put a lot of bright colors on her. Just so that we could open her eyes up. Her eyes were a golden shimmer. We put some peach onto her cheeks, again, to help with the really cut in jawline and cheekbones from dieting so hard. Just putting a little bit of flush of blush on there can help to really refresh your look, like you said, make you look refreshed. So I was really happy with that. And then something else that I wanted to touch on about her look too is her suit and her suit color, but also the suit bottoms too. So not that the pink suit was bad on her as far as the color is concerned, but this bright yellow just makes her look so bright and youthful and vibrant, you know? And then also the cut on the back. I want to really emphasize this because a lot of times you ladies feel like you have to wear the smallest cut available to you, and that's not necessarily always the best look for you. This is a case where a little bit of a bigger cut actually helped to balance her frame more. When she was wearing that pink suit, the back of her bottoms on that pink suit were half the size of the back of the bottoms of this yellow suit. She didn't even realize it until she was comparing the two this past week and realized just how much more coverage she had with the yellow. And her feedback in Tahoe with the pink suit was that her glutes were overpowering. They were too big because she had too much exposed, really, because the suit bottoms were too small. So she put these yellow bottoms back on, where again, she got her top 10 Olympia placing, and she ended up, you know, looking more balanced from the back. Her overall posing from the back looked better. Remember last week at Tahoe, I mentioned she looked square in her glutes. She didn't have that problem here. She looked round, you know? So this was definitely a better look for her, even though the placings didn't reflect that. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you have a tougher lineup in the top 6. You know what I mean? So I wish she could have moved up a couple spots, but I do think this is an improved look overall for her. So she's going to keep going. She's doing Phoenix next. That is the last option and opportunity to qualify for the Olympia. So cross your fingers that she can get a win win in that show. And she's got, 2 weeks at this point to run it down a little bit more, bring a little bit of that muscle off her a little bit more, and really bring in a stellar package to Phoenix. I think she can do it. I think it's 100% within her power to win that show. So that is Miss Brina. And again, I was really happy that I was able to be there for her, and I was really happy that I was able to do her makeup. We've been at 1,000 shows together over the last, I don't even know how many years, and this was the first time I had the opportunity to actually do her makeup, so I was really happy with that. So moving on, we're going to go to Carolina, who took 5th. And we're going to talk about this too, because Carolina, I believe, is now leading the point list for Olympic qualification, and I don't see anybody surpassing her at this point. At the very end of this, we are going to talk about the points and how this could all play out over the next couple of weeks, okay? But Carolina, I believe this was one of her better looks. She was a little bit fuller than I've seen her in the past, specifically in her glutes. And I really liked that look. I liked the fuller look on her because she is a smaller girl. The fuller that she can get, the better her frame looks, in my opinion. She's one of these girls that she's been competing all year, and her body doesn't look tired. It actually just looks good, you know? So, I mean, she's either superhuman or something, you know what I mean? So, absolutely love Brina. Yes, I think we all do. I think we all love Brina, right? But yeah, I really loved this look on Carolina. Again, I thought it was really like full and healthy looking, and I think this was one of her better looks all year. And again, she's been competing since, gosh, April, something like that. Whenever Girl Power was, I think that was April. I don't even remember at this point. All the months and weeks run together at this point. But I'm getting over here to a back shot of her, and yeah, this was good. Like, the one thing I can say is that when you're getting fuller in the back, you have to be careful about the tightness in your hamstrings. Like, she probably could have been a little bit tighter with that hamstring tie-in, but if she did that, she was going to sacrifice some fullness in the glutes in order to achieve that. So it's like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. Which one do you go for, right? So, you know, it's a tough balance right there, but this is an improved back pose. She's not pushing as hard as she was earlier in the season. She's definitely standing up a little taller, relaxed a little bit more, which all helped with the fullness of the glutes. You know what I mean? So personally, I think this is a better look. I like this look better. You know, the one thing I could see with her in the lineup live is, you know, she could have been just a touch tighter through those hamstrings. But again, if she did that, that was going to sacrifice some of that fullness for her. So it's like, okay, which direction do you go? And I think this was a good package for her. And it also achieved what she needed. She needed those extra points just to secure her spot in that Olympia lineup. So this was a great look for her. This was a good job. This was a good strategy for her to do this show. And now she can kind of breathe because nobody's going to surpass her in the point list at this point. So really good job with that. Then we're going to go up to 4th, which was Ivana. So Ivana is another one that's playing the point game really, really well. She looked great at this show as well. She looked nice and full and tight from the back. Again, she's one of these girls. It's the same critique that I've given her over the last few weeks. She just needs to pop a little bit more, just a little bit more. Like, she's become very consistent at every one of these shows. I think she looks great at every one of these shows. And it's just going to be a matter of balancing this and figuring out how her best look is going to come in. I think from the front, this is probably the best I've seen her look from the front. If we're looking, let me see if I can get to a back shot of her. And again, she's just a stunning girl. Like, I remember we were standing there at check-ins, and I was talking to Kaylin. I was just mentioning about Kaylin. She's like, who's the girl with the yellow shoes? I was like, that's Ivana. She's like, oh, she looks good. And she was in yellow shoes, and she was in jeans. And when you can tell a girl looks good in jeans, the girl looks good. You know what I mean? So she's like, you can just see a great frame even through the jeans, right? And that was Ivana. So beautiful, again, beautiful look, beautiful girl. I'm trying to get to a back shot. My computer's been super slow the last week, so I'm trying to get to a back shot, see if I can just elaborate anything on the back. But I really think she's just become consistent, which is good. And it's just going to be a matter of fine-tuning these details. And she will qualify for the Olympia this year as well. As I said, we're going to talk about the point list when we get towards the end of this. Let me pull this up. Yeah, I mean, you know, look at the back shot here. I think she, you know, again, she's one of these ones, I think a little bit more pop in the glutes, just a little bit more pop in the glutes. I think the rest of it's right on. I think the rest of it's right on, because she's tight. She's really tight, and she's conditioned well and all of that. So again, it's that fine line balance, a little bit more pop. And I mean, like, just a touch. And again, she's also a small girl. She's a short girl. So, you know, she has to battle that with, you know, being too full. You can't go too far one direction, or you're going to start to look like you're out of shape. So, you know, it's that balancing act. And I think she did a really good job of this. And this was, again, a good strategy that she just played in order to get those points to qualify, right? And then we're going to go to Vanya. So Vanya ended up in third. Again, great look for Vanya here. Her lower half has always been her critique, that she needs to come in a little tighter, a little bit smaller through the legs, all those kinds of things. And I think really over the last 2 shows that I've seen her in, she's really streamlined her legs a lot. And I really noticed that in person here at this show. I noticed it on the live feed when she did Pacific USA, but I really noticed it in person at this particular show, and how much she's actually brought those legs down, which is a good look for her. That's where she needed to go. That's what she needed to do. Looking at it from the back, I think that, again, she's right there. She maybe needs to be just a little bit tighter through those hamstrings still. But I mean, she placed third. She did very, very well. And she took my advice with the curls in her hair. I saw her before finals, and I was like, I see you did the curls into the ends of your hair. She's like, yes, see, I listened. I was like, yeah, no, that looked great. I mean, that's what she needed. She needed to get a little bit more of that healthy look through the ends of her hair, just so that it wasn't looking all jagged at the bottom. And it worked well for her. Worked really well for her. So, you know, she could go through and break those curls up a little bit. But I mean, this look was better. You know, I was really happy to see that. And that's one of the reasons why I do these critiques and things like that, because these are just little things that make a big difference to the eye when you're on stage. You know, that just healthiness of the hair looking like it's flowing a little bit better versus looking jagged on the ends. So she did a really good job of that. And again, and overall, I think this is a really good package for her. And I just see a little bit tighter through the hamstrings, and that's probably the best she's going to get at that point. So again, she's done a good job of downsizing the legs this season, which is what she needed to do, which is why she's been moving up in the placings. You know, she's done a really good job of all that. Then we're going to go on to Crystal Bellina. So Crystal Bellina ended up placing second in this show. So Tahoe, was she in third call out on Tahoe? So she went from third call out all the way up to second place here. And she looked really good. There's still a little bit of the posing stuff that needs to be worked on. I did get a chance to talk to her a little bit between prejudging and finals, and just told her to kind of pull up with her front pose a little. And she did do that at finals versus what she did in prejudging. One of the things with me not getting into Nashville in time is I didn't get a chance to actually work with her and pose her. So I was hoping I was going to get a chance to do that, and I didn't have the opportunity to. So I gave her a few little pointers going to finals, and that was about it for her. But she has definitely improved a lot over the last few weeks, and this was definitely a better package for her as well. When she did Pacific USA and also Tahoe, I really noticed a lack of control in her waistline, whereas here she really brought that in and pulled it in tighter. So she did a good job here fixing that. The one thing I think that made the difference between her getting second and first has to do with her front pose. Jen Dory's waistline is just way smaller, so that's just helpful. We're going to get into Jen in a minute. But also in the back pose, her glutes need some more density. They need some more depth to it. Her glutes look great. She's got an awesome shape to her glutes, but she needs some more fullness, some more muscle density in those glutes. It's really hard to see that when you're actually looking at photos, but when you see her next to the rest of the girls in that first call out lineup, she's just a little bit soft. And I like the way that I try to describe density and the way it looks is, if you think of a balloon, if you fill it with air, it's going to look like it's very light, right? You fill it with water, it's denser. You fill it with pudding, and it's even denser, right? So everybody else on that stage basically had the balloon filled with pudding, and she had her balloon filled with water, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense visually, but that's the best way that I can kind of describe the difference in how the density looks you know, how that density looks on stage. And again, it's really hard to see that in these photos, but you can see it when they're all next to each other on stage and when you're actually live and in person and watching them move. And that's why, you know, being in live in person at a show is unlike watching videos. It's unlike seeing pictures, all of those kinds of things, because you see things like that you can't see when you're looking at pictures and stuff online. And I think that's what made a big difference in her placing second versus first. But with that said, Jen's physique and shape was just better from the front as well. I'm just pulling up a back post here to see if there's anything else I wanted to comment on with Crystal Bellina. But, you know, this was definitely a massively improved look over the last week or so. Yeah, it's just that density. That's about it. Her posing still needs some work. We'll still work on her posing a little bit more. And again, we're going to go into the topic of the Olympia points next once we get done with Jen. So Jennifer Dory did win this show, and in my opinion, she won it hands down. This was definitely improved look of hers over Tampa. The confidence factor was 1,000 times better at this show versus what it was in Tampa. You could just tell she knew that this package was a lot closer to what she needed to be. She was very tight. Her glutes were nice and full. And I will also say that I think she got better again. She got better from prejudging to finals. Her posing was better at finals. Her overall look was better at finals. I think she just kind of gets the nerves out at prejudging and then comes back at finals and looks better, right? So she's still, and I talked to her after the show, she still feels like she can be a little bit tighter. And I agree with that. I think she still has another like 2% to go as far as being her 100%. I don't think she was 100% here yet, which she didn't need to be in order to win this show. She didn't need to be 100% to win this show. She needed this show in order to get her qualification, which she handedly won. And I think if she comes in another, 2 to 5% closer to her 100%, at her 100% for the Arnold and then for the Olympia, she's gonna be really, really tough to beat. And I think she's playing this season very, very well. She needed this win in order to qualify for Olympia. She got it. I wouldn't have changed much because now she's still got gas in the tank in order to do well for the Arnold and then do well for the Olympia too. She's got 2 more shows that she really wants to win the titles from. So that's where she wants to be at 100%, So I think she fixed a lot of things from Tampa. And then the little things that she wanted to fix between prejudging and finals, she did at this show. And now it's just going to be a matter of bringing in her guns blazing at the Arnold and at the Olympia, right? So really happy to see this win. And again, I don't think it was, in my opinion, I don't think it was even close. I think she was handedly the winner here at the show. So much improved. Really love seeing that too, because again, she did improve over Tampa, right? So with that, I wanted to also give a shout out to a couple of our girls that did Masters. So Miriam ended up in 3rd in the Masters division, Miriam Jenkins. So I thought that was awesome too, because I think, and I'm not positive on this, but I believe Miriam was actually the oldest bikini competitor on that stage in Masters. It was 35 and over, and Miriam is turning 56 in 6 weeks. So for her to be able to beat all the youngins was incredible. Like, she did amazing. And then Wendy ended up in 4th, and Wendy I think is 52, 53, something like that. So again, in their 50s and kicking ass, man, absolutely kicking ass. So Miriam looks stunning. She sure did. Yes. Thank you all. I can't wait to see you at North American. Sorry, I was driving. Oh, no worries. Yes. So they both did fantastic. I mean, to get top 5s in 35 and over when you're in your 50s is freaking pretty incredible, right? Her yellow suit. Yes. She looks incredible. She sure does. Yes, they both looked amazing. They absolutely did. Yes, she's going to be 56 in 6 weeks. Yep. Crazy, right? Like goals, right? Both of those ladies are such inspiration. Yes, they absolutely are. Yes, the congratulations for them. Absolutely. And then Shala Singer, another one of our posing clients, she ended up in 9th place. And this is the first time she's been on stage in I think it was 8 years, something like that. So she did amazing in that Masters division as well. So really proud of her for sticking through it and getting up on stage. I know she was really nerve-wracking after not being on stage for so long, but she did phenomenal too. Miriam and Wendy are amazing. I fangirled way too much over them. That's right. So Caitlin right here, she helped me with hair and makeup that morning, keeping everybody on schedule and just being my person that called girls when they were late and things like that. Are the ones where you could have like Wendy, Miriam, and Brina all in the show, and then it's fantastic energy, right? Unbelievable. An inspiration for me as I go into my 50s. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Right. Goals. Yeah. 8 years first in bikini. There you go. First time in bikini. Yep. It's been 8 years since Shala was on stage. So yeah, that's pretty incredible right there too. So you definitely, Shala was worried that she was gonna not fit in bikini, and she ended up fitting fantastically well. So great job on that. So yes. So this was a good show. This is a really good show. I can't wait for you to slay my makeup, Sean, at North Americans. I know it's going to be great. I can't wait for North Americans too, but I need a weekend home. I'm excited about a weekend home. But yeah, overall, this was a great show. It went by so fast. But I was just sitting there on Friday night in Gaylord Opryland in the resort, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, man, I am so blessed to be able to do this. Like, I really can't complain about, the flight delays and stuff like that. I mean, I get to fly to these cities and see these women rock these stages every weekend. I mean, it's really something I shouldn't be complaining about at all, because I'm incredibly blessed to be able to do what I do. And it was a moment. I was sitting there like getting choked up. I'm like, this is really cool. This is awesome. Shala, can't believe it was 8 years. You did so great up there, like no time away from the stage. I know, right? Yes. We posed a lot. We posed in person, and we posed through FaceTime. We posed through our Dropbox, our posing portal and everything too, and she did amazing with her posing. She's never done bikini before. So that was pretty awesome. I'm literally just gagging that Wendy and Miriam are in their 50s. Like, stop. Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. Yeah, so it was incredible. And that was actually, I think that's what Sandy said to Miriam. She said, how old are you again? Shut the fuck up. Something along that line. Loved seeing you there, Sean. Didn't have a chance to say hi in person. Taking a break from my baby girl. Your girls are definitely an inspiration. I hope we can post together when I return. Yes, absolutely, 100%. So, yes, you did great. Fantastic, Shala. So great job. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Sandy's response to Miriam is always cracks me up. So, yeah, fantastic show. So.